Something else is done at the same time we change oil is we check belt tension. I went ahead and took the shroud off. There's only 5 bolts, 2 here, 2 at that end, 1 in the center. Corken manual says roughly 3/8 of an inch of drop. So that's more than 3/8 of an inch. Not by a lot, but it's there. And I had just replaced this last summer, the motor in this last summer. So I anticipated that there'd be some stretch. So what we have to do is we have to slide the motor back. Take a 15/16, back off these 4 base nuts. Come on. Now we use these 2 threaded rods here to do it, and we will tighten them in. And before we get going too far, we want to make sure that this belt always stays straight, always stays true. There's 2 ways to prove it. One, this base is tapered, so all you do is get close, but you take this tape measure and you see about how much of a gap you got. So I got about 1 1/8 there. Now I squared this up when I replaced this motor, and I'll show you how to square everything up. So this one here was just a little off. This one here was 1 1/16, not exactly 1 1/8, but almost 1 1/8. So whatever it is, however many cranks you do on one, you do on the other. So start off here, 1/4, 1/2. That got loose, so 1/4, 1/2, 1/4, 1/4. Now, check my tension. Maybe that's really good. I think I'm going to go just a touch more. Quarter. Quarter. That's it, no more, no tighter than that. The original belts that come from Corken are 5 individual belts. I just went to a 5 wide. And so now I've got that done. Let's double check this gap here. I am 1 1/16 and just a fuzz over 1 inch. So now we're going to try to prove the squareness of this pulley to that pulley. And I need to get me a big C-clamp. And a piece of square stock. All right. Now what we've got is I got to make sure the square stock is flat and flush here on both sides, and it is. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to measure it, and we want to get this got to be it's as close as you can get it. Part of the problem is we're dealing with the slop in the base. Even though there's not that much, there's still slop. And when you adjust this pulley, there's always going to be some variableness. But what we want to do is we want to get it as straight as we can possibly get it. And that's why this is good enough. So I'm going to measure from here to the edge of this pulley. I'm showing 1 5/8 inches. Measuring from here to the face of this, I'm showing 1 5/8 inches. Almost. No, I take that back. 1 inch and I'm just a 1/16 short. Now I'm a 1/16 of an inch off. This thing, if anything, could go back that way 1/16 of an inch. I'm not going to adjust this 1/16 of an inch. I just can't. I don't have the skill set to be able to take this 2-piece pulley apart, adjust it, and then by the time I back everything off, take the belt off, loose enough where I can pull this, adjust it out, reset it, put everything back, I may lose that 1/16 of an inch and go the other way with it. If I can be that close, I'm happy. So that's the simplest way to do it. Just clamp on a straight edge and measure. And I believe that's exactly how Corkin recommends you do it as well. And now what we're going to do, while I got easy access to everything, is we're going to grease the motor. It's always been an argument. I've always heard people say you should never, ever, ever grease a motor, and there's others that say you always should. So I asked the man that rebuilds my motors, that I buy mine from, he says once a year give them each Zerk 2 pumps of grease. Well, I'm going to use the same grease I use on the pumps, that low temperature stuff. That's what we're going to do. 1, 2. 1, 2. That's it. Wipe them down, clean them up. Let's get this out of the way. Before I put my cover on, we need to go and tighten up my base bolt. Who knows, tightening these base bolts may get me back my 1/16 of an inch that I needed. It's kind of like in accounting. Ideally, when you do accounting, especially in a business, you want to be able to count for every penny. But if you're not careful, you can spend dollars chasing nickels to try to get your accounts, all of your accounts, to perfectly balance all the time. Sometimes that's the question we run into when we're doing this. This is good. This is really true. Will a 1/16 of an inch impact the operation of my machine and cause excessive wear and damage? I really doubt it. And I'm going to bet that it won't. So I'm not going to chase that 1/16 of an inch. There we go. Those are down. Make sure to snug these up. Make sure they're not loose. Ah, look at that. Socket's split. Oh well. Good. We're tight. Make sure to take that one back, get it replaced. Taking the guard off is pretty simple. There's nothing really that special to it. It's putting it back on. We want to make sure that we don't rub in here. And the biggest place to adjust it is back here on this bolt. So Let's clear ourselves a work area. And now it's a matter of finding our bolts. Here we are. Here we are. And just like everything else, always anti-seize your bolts. I had these apart last year and I seized them then. I still got compound on these bolts, so I'm not going to add any more. Now getting this one in can be a bit of a pistol, but it's initially lining up shouldn't be too bad. Stick my hand down in there. There we go. That's generally what I want. I want this thing pushed as far this way as possible so it doesn't rub on the bottom of the belt. And then when it comes to these, the guard kind of rests down there on the bottom. Same thing here, get it up. And then push back out. There's just not a lot of room here. Let's see if that'll work. Now we're going to run it and hopefully it's quiet. Sounds right to me. And that's it.